Hey guys, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we did a gorgeous 18 by 20 inch Forest Canyon waterfall that just turned out fantastic. You obviously think so as well. That's why you want to learn how to paint this one. So check the description down below. Make sure you get all the colors you need. Make sure you get your canvas nice and wet. Get ready to throw some paint on. Let's do it just like this. Hey guys, it's Josh back in the studio with you today. We have our phthalo blue run right down here, a little bit inside, and then as we pulled over to the edge, we have our green and our phthalo green and phthalo blue all mixed around, all up in here in case we decide to do anything. That's what's going to happen, right? So we'll go through all the colors that we have today to show you what we got. Our cadmium yellow, bright red, yellow ochre, Van Dyke brown over here, dark sienna, sap green, phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, midnight black, and titanium white. So how did I get my canvas like this, you wonder? I took Liquitex Black Gesso and covered the canvas, creating my trees and all that with some cheap old brushes. Don't use your good brushes for that stuff, right? And then once we were done, we took our Bob Ross Liquid Clear, looks a lot like that, covered the entire black section, then took our Bob Ross Liquid White and covered the entire top section, and then we put on all those colors I told you about, our phthalo blue, our coming down here, we got green and blue and everything all mixed up all in there, right? Now, let's get ready to do a painting. So, all right. Now, we're going to come in here with our phthalo blue. Going to make a gorgeous little blue sky right on our 2-inch brush. Don't need a whole lot of color because we've got that liquid white that's going to help it all blend down and go into this gorgeous little bits of blue that we'd never be able to do on our own, right? So, just by coming in from the top corner, you can see it start getting lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter just by mixing it down with our pressure, right? That second P, we talk about, always talking about the first P of Paint with Josh is the amount of paint that we put on the brush, right? The second P is the amount of pressure that we're pulling. How far do we want to pull this little bit down? How blue do you want it to become? I want it to become a little bit lighter right along the tip top. So, and we're going to have a big old section of white cloud out here, so let's not cover everything. But look at these trees. These black gesso trees, the more and more and more you cover over them, the further and further and further away they're going to look. So, let's not try to cover the entire thing and forget that we even put them out there, right? Cover our edges just like that. Nice and simple. Takes about 2 seconds to do, right? Now, we've knocked off most of the color off of this brush. So as long as we don't push too hard in these areas on the edges where it's a little bit darker, and we can just use that bit in there. Look at this. We'll come down just very lightly down into here. That little teeniest bit of light blue. It's all you need. A little bit of difference in there. It's not all the same bit of blue, right? Just like that. A little over here. Smallest bit. Coming down in, and then we'll have this gorgeous little white puffy little bit of a cloud out there. It's gonna be fantastic. So you guys gotta tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? And man, we're gonna have a lot of fun. This one's gonna be very colorful, gonna have a lot of gorgeous, very textured flowers. And we're also filming a tutorial at the same time. So you guys are gonna be able to go watch this on YouTube in probably 2 or 3 weeks. It'll be out there on YouTube and you'll be able to go watch it. So if you don't know what my YouTube channel is, it's youtube.com/paintwithjosh. Imagine that. Look, as we very lightly go over that little bit of sky, dropping a little color off of our brush, all with the amount of pressure that we're pushing, right? All depends. How much do you want to cover your trees? How far away are they, right? How much light do you want to bring down into your little bit of sky? That's totally up to you. Totally up to you. Now we got that gorgeous little bit of brightness, a little bit of shadowing in there. And watch what happens when we come in with this bit of white. I've gone through all the colors here. Our cadmium yellow, bright red, yellow ochre, dark sienna, Van Dyke brown, sap green, phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, midnight black, titanium white. Right now, we're gonna come in here to our titanium white. Titanium white, you have to say it with a white to it, right? We come in here right back up to that lighter area that we were at, saving a few pieces of that brightness, a few pieces of that darkness. Just like that little puffy little white cloud. There's not a whole lot of room in this scene for a lot of clouds. So just one little puffy bit. And you guys are like, oh, why have I watched this guy for him to go and do that? That looks horrible, right? Well, give me a second. Let me know when it starts turning into a cloud. Does it look like a cloud yet? What about now? Anything look like a cloud yet? Anybody? Just all with the amount of pressure that we're pushing on our canvas, we can blend that little thing out till we have a little bit, oh, just perfect. Looks like a guy in there going like this. This giant, just muscly guy back there, right? Okay, let's come over here. And every so often, I like to paint a little contrail into the sky. So we'll take a little tiny little piece of white off the end of the knife over here. Just at the right angle, kind of throw it out just like that. take our little brush. We're gonna go 2 swipes this way, 1 long swipe that way, right? So 2 swipes just to soften the end, and then 1 long swipe, and there goes our airplane flying through the sky. Very cool, very simple, very easy, right? Now we're gonna come in here, just like this, with a little bit more white on our brush. And let's say we came over here to where our little waterfall maybe came out. It came out a little bit, fell right down. How much water do you want to come out of yours, right? Do you want it to have be a little bit bigger, a little bit more water coming out of there? Falling down. You get to decide what happens way back in there. And then we're going to hide wherever the river comes out of with a piece of rock. We're going to come right in front of it. So don't worry about that. Right now, once we come out here and roll over and go down to the side, we get to decide how much it is, how light, how much pressure we're pushing, how much bright paint we're putting on there to change it. All up to us what we want to do. Right? Maybe down, it came down here. All of a sudden it hit. Starts sliding back and forth. Bang, bang, boom. We're going to run out of space if we just keep going this way, right? So what happens if our river just hit a point where all of a sudden, down goes the waterfall, right? Boom goes the dynamite over the side, just like that. So hang around, and I'm going to show you something really cool, just like that, though, how we can create a scene in our mind. And then what do you start seeing around the edge, right? Do you want to have rocks over here, big old trees, big giant trees here? What do you want? It's totally up to you. But our little river and our little waterfall, especially with a little bit of mist down at the bottom of it, in the deep, dark shadows of our little foresty canyon, right? Just like that. Again, same thing with our brush up there making a cloud. We make a little misty cloud out of this guy. And depending on our pressure, like we can take that mist, work it all the way up to the top if you want. Depends on how hard you're pushing, right? All up to us what we want it to look like. And because there's green and blue underneath here, that's why it changed, right? You can't just have a bare blank canvas. If your canvas is not covered with any undercolors, you are not going to be having fun. That's why we go through every single step and show you every single thing, or at least tell you, because I've done so many videos like this, you guys should know how to put the undercolors on. But if it's your first time, we covered it in liquid clear, which I go through in the beginning of the tutorial video, and we put all of our undercolors down. So our blue and our green and mixed them all in there. A little bit more blue where we were going to have our river, right? And that way, anywhere that you go, there's a little bit of color to mix with. If there's no color to mix with, then it's just going to be pure bright white or really super bright, right? And that's not what you want. Save a little bit of darkness back in there. Look at that. That's cool. And more and more, I mean, you could do fog around the whole thing. Just call it done, right? Be a really misty waterfall. Now, let's come in here with a little bit more of our white, get back to painting, right? We do have to run a small business, but we also have to teach you how to paint. So we're going to come in here like this with our white and just light up a few little areas back in here. Skip some spots. Don't have the white connect to itself, right? And then it looks like little different things are going on back there. Now, we can come in and do a little rocks, or we can finish this bit of our waterfall. You guys got to tell me what you want to see, though. Tell me what you want to see right now. More rocks back in here, or should we do our little waterfall? And who else can see the face with the little hair right out there, right? Am I the only one that can see that? Am I the only one? Let me know what you guys want to see. I bet you all of you are going to say waterfall. Okay, we'll save the waterfall as we get more towards us, right? Now, I found out a very cool way to teach you guys. Since I learn by doing, I'm going to have you guys tell me what to do next, right? And we've done that in a couple little streams. Just imagine, you can have your waterfall anywhere you want to have it. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. You can literally have it fall out. Ooh, guys. Oh, we just came up with an amazing idea, okay? That's awesome. That's going to be fantastic. We're going to waterfall it everywhere off the edge of this guy. Like, it's just going to be, oh, that's so cool. Oh, goodness. Okay. I'm telling you guys, we literally make it up as we go. And I'm adding a very, very, very small amount of paint just to kind of sketch it out, to outline it in my brain, what it might look like if we did the whole thing in waterfall, right? And I don't know, it looks really cool. It looks really cool. You guys got to tell me, you guys want to, let's do it all in waterfalls. Why not? If you don't want to paint this one, then you don't watch this YouTube video, right? That's the trade-off, but I think it would look really neat if we did all this thing kind of just spilling off the edge very lightly. What do you guys think? Yes, says Bird Woman. Let's see. Pop, pop, pop. Thanks for all the follows, guys. I love you. Yes, we're going to do rocks. We're going to do rocks. I know. But I just had this idea, like maybe we have this water fall off the edge. It can be really cool. Okay, now we're going to come back over here. So this scene, I've done it a few times, and I like making the rocks kind of grayish, right? They don't always have to be brown or red or black or whatever. Let's make it a little bit gray. We're gonna take a little black, a little white, and we're gonna mix them up. And you need proportionally more black than white because the white is so powerful against the black. It really wants to brighten it up like snow, right? So you need more black than white. And that way we don't have a snowy scene, we have a summer scene over here, right? So come in here, just like that. A little bit of nastiness on the knife. Now, all we're gonna do, actually we don't even need that much. Let's take away about half of that, right? Still leaving about a little chunk. Look at these little bits. Little teeny line, right? Now, what we're gonna do is decide maybe our little bit of rock with such light pressure. And come over here. I'm just gonna start to darken it up out on the edge, dropping little bits of darkness. See that? A little bit of dark against all that little bit of light back in there. Adding our texture, adding our little bit of color. As we come down and watch this right through the waterfall. Yeah, it's so much paint up there. There we go. Come down right through the waterfall. Boom. Cut that bit off so you can't see where it comes out of, right? Now, here's the fun part. I don't want to have a whole lot of paint on the canvas, and just by scraping it away on a black canvas, you can reveal so many little details and different things in your rock, right? Just by doing nothing. By doing nothing. Let's get a little bit more white. Let's mix this guy up down here so we have a few more brighter sections of highlights. Just a little bit, right? Come in like that. Now maybe this guy up here started just off to the side, back and forth, making it all jaggedy, right? Love making it all jaggedy. Maybe he came down in here and we start connecting these little pieces, a little bit brighter out on the edge, right? A little bit. We leave it dark as we go back in there. It's very spooky. No one knows what's happening in there, right? Let's turn our knife this way. Start coming down. Look at that. All depends on what your mess looks like, right? We always talk about, it's literally on my stickers. It says, paint with Josh, make a mess, right? Because we literally show you how to make the coolest little things happen out of just a mess. Look at all that foam and that mist that we put back there, right? You guys remember doing that part, right? That part, yeah. Let's brighten up this little pile a little bit more, because we never make enough for whatever reason. Plus, we get good at mixing, right? Don't overmix though. Have all those little different colors in there. It's gonna be fantastic. Come out on the edge over here. Oh yes, look at that. Brighten up. All those cool little things with such very light little pressure. Teeniest, tiniest little things are gonna grip in different areas. They're gonna reveal shadows. You're gonna have all sorts of stuff. Maybe we drag just so lightly, maybe trying to get the littlest bit of, a little bit of detail off towards the back, right? Just a touch. A few little things that are happening out there. And it's gonna be wicked. You don't wanna have too many little details though, right? But you gotta have a place for the little birdies to come down and sit. Maybe this guy came out like that, but we don't wanna have it just be all brightness, right? So you gotta go back to that dark color that we originally, or a little bit of our black, right? We'll come out here. Just throw a little thing off. Maybe we'll cover a little bit back there. And just that little section of dark is gonna help our shadows stand out a bit more. It's gonna bring it more in front of the rock that's in the back. Very cool, right? Watch me show you. Come down here like this. Little things. Watch that dark paint just grab the light paint in different areas, and all of a sudden, look at that. Look at that, right? My goodness, it looks like the head of a snake coming out like this. And come over and get us. Gonna come over and get us, right? A little bit of darkness way back in here, just to help. There we go. Hide that little bit of shadowing. We'll go a little darker. Throw that little bit of bright underneath it. There we go. A little bit of dark riding over the top of that. Bang. Very cool. A couple little shadows, very little depthy areas, lots of texture. Very cool. Come back in with that brightness. Change the angle, right? As we go more sideways, you have these little different things. Maybe we create a little bridge that walks out over the edge of this little waterfall. Who knows, right? Totally up to you. Remember, if you want to re-watch this stream, you can go over to my YouTube channel and wait for about 2 weeks, and it'll be out there on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/paintwithjosh. And you guys on YouTube are already watching it. I'm literally filming 2 cameras right next to each other. So we got right here, a little bit more of our light. Let's come out and kind of accentuate our little face out here. Maybe we got a little bit of brightness out on his head in there. It looks like almost like a Who from Whoville to me. Come in, start adding different things, right? Bing, bang, boom. Maybe come down there. Little bits. Oh, you guys, look at that. That is so stinking cool. And it's just so neat and easy, right? Very easy to do. Look at those little trees. They're like hanging on for dear life. All because we're changing the angle, right? All about this angle right here. So whether it's like that, or it's like this, or it's upside down, or it's over here, right? You gotta move and rotate, right? Even if you can't move your wrist, if you got limited mobility, bet you could still do it with your fingers, just like that, right? Twisting it around, making a little circle, even without moving our wrist, right? We can still do it. Watch, I'm gonna show you right here. I'm gonna try to keep my wrist as straight as possible, but still make little things, right? Turning on an angle just with my hand, my fingers, right? Just if I had limited mobility, you can still make cool little rocks. So, come on, guys, let's see what we got. Come down in here, into our mist, we start dropping less and less paint. Get more and more of a wonder, of a mystery. What's back in there, right? That looks so cool. And we just, the water is just cutting the thing right out. So remember, guys, if you want to buy this painting, go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com. I don't know why I do that. Go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com and search for number 804. This is number 804 on my career, and it's turning into one of my favorites already. So let's come back here. Maybe we had that little bit of drop, and we're gonna come out, and we're gonna come over to the side and down. Turn the brush over to the side, down. Very light in some areas, a little bit heavier in some areas. Now we're gonna get out to the front. We're gonna start going the other way. Very cool, very cool. Dropping it all off the side. Like it's just very flat and then all falls down. I like that. It's different than the other ones. You know what I mean? I try not to paint the same painting over and over and over again, or at least have a little bit of difference in it. Very light little pressure. Going both ways. Now we rotate, we go back the other way, right? You can't be going the same ways if our brush was going the other way initially. There we go. Just make it nice and soft. It's falling down. Oh, that's cool. Remember, guys, start coming up with a name for this painting. What are we going to call this guy? You got to let me know in the comments. It's going to be very neat. Take these guys. It'll be so cool. Brightening it up, bringing it over. Whatever we want to do. Oh, just neat. Just neat. A little bit more of our white now. Come in here. Just dropping it. Little different areas. Little bits. And then we're going to go back over and make it the smallest bit softer. Right, as you go in, a little softer, but not touching so hard that it's gonna kind of damage all the rest of those little details, right? And then we're gonna connect onto that bit of white, come over the side, over this side, almost straight down, turning it, right? Going back to the same spot to start, and that way it looks like it's 3D. You gotta kind of start from that one spot and keep going, right? A little bit of stuff off the edge. Very cool, just sliding them back, smallest little bit. These guys we might have to slide back this way as they go that way and that way, right? They're all coming from all different ways, so you have all this little tumultuousness right over the edge, and maybe get a couple little splashies right there as it's falling over. Really cool, guys. So let's come back in here, just like that. Over to the side and down, over to the side and down. Bing, bang, boom. Get all these little things all in different directions. And then you go, well, where's the point? It's obviously right here, right? Where we have our one going this way and one going that way. That's the very tip of it. Now, if you could get the smallest little bit to go down the edge without having it turn dark like that, then that's cool. But look at, we can take this bit of darkness and add little shadows back in here, little gouges. Looks really neat. A couple little bits in there, right? And then wash off your brush. Now we're gonna go back over for the final touch. The final touch, the extra bit of white right at the top. All right, so we need a nice clean, dry brush. I'm gonna come in here, loading up that white. Don't even need to do it, just all on the one side right here. Right, pick a nice area, that little bit, have it come down, smallest little thing, and then let go. Don't touch it, move away. Move to the other side, little bits, right? All different where it's coming out of. Just like that, very chunky, very thick. One of the last places of the painting to dry is right here. Now, that looks so cool, you guys. I'm just digging it. We can make a whole bunch of mist come up from the bottom. You can have it hit down here and flow off to the side, whatever you guys want to do. So tell me in the comments right now, what do you want to do? I'm going to take 10 seconds to wash these brushes, and then you guys can let me know what your plan is for this painting. And then again, go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com, and you can purchase this painting right now before we're even finished. You can lock it down, reserve it for yourself, right? Just like that. Trust me, you're gonna love it by the time we get done. Very cool. Now this changes our whole plan on this side because we were gonna have it all fall to the edge. So now we gotta decide what does our land look like back in here? What are we gonna do now, right? So take our dry 2-inch brush, again, very lightly, just trying to soften it the smallest bit. This helps it dry like an hour faster. Just the littlest bit faster. If it's just a teeniest bit touched. Bang, very cool. Soft little bit. You can add rocks in there. You can do all sorts of stuff. Anything you want to do. I like mine. It looks like it's very flat, very thin, and then just spills out over the edge. Very cool. Why don't we get a little bit of our green onto our brush, just a little of our sap green. I'm gonna bring the palette over to show you guys how, just over here like that. This thing's so big. So I'm gonna do a little bit of our sap green back in here, not too much. A little bit of blue too, just to darken it down a littlest bit, right? Now, let's say maybe way off back in there, we had these little bits of our deep dark sap green. So you're not gonna see a lot of it, right? Until we go back and light it up. Maybe we had that little hill it was living up on, and who knows, maybe there's a guy back in there, maybe there's a cave back in there that Bigfoot lives in. Who knows? All right, a little of our hill, our grass, just like a typewriter, starting here, going up, coming back, going up, coming back, going up, dipping down, coming back. It's like, right? Ding, ding, ding. That's all you got to think about. Little typewriter action back there. Don't cover all that darkness though. Leave that little bit of dark between the bright and the green. I'm telling you, it's going to act like a little shadow back in there. All right, now what if we bashed our brush right down off onto the paper towel down here and then added just a little bit of our cad yellow to the brush. Just a couple little taps, right? It's going to be very bright compared to all this darkness. So very lightly, we're going to start tapping in and we can start to build our little grass and expose him. Where is he living in right here? Boom. Very cool little bit of shadowy grass coming out from behind the thing, right? Very, very neat. Now we can all decide what happens. Maybe our grass comes like this and starts falling over the edge. Hanging down with his little flowery guys, his little mitts. And we got a little piece of a bush that lives right up here on the edge of the river too. You never know. You never know what happens, right? Until you paint it. And we have to make up our little stories and do little things and have fun. At least that's how I like to paint. Very cool. Just tapping it up like a typewriter. Ding, ding, right? Back and forth. The more brightness you put out there, the brighter it's going to look. Now, we're not going to try to add so much grass and everything else because there's going to be a big bush that sits right here on the edge. But look at that little dark separator in there between our light color yellowish green and that bright white. Got that dark separation, and it's messy, right? It's not supposed to be a perfect straight line. It's supposed to be messy like that. Now, we're going to come over here. Let's decide. Maybe we could have, if we miss this whole thing up and then imagine coming down like that, like our little bridge. Maybe he came out over here and we could walk almost right through the thing, start climbing up. I don't know. Or we put out a little bit of rocks here, right? If we come out here with our rock like this, then you can overhang lots and lots and lots of flowers off the edge of that. So what do you guys want to see? A little land bridge or flowers, right? And I mean, a land bridge, it's just going to be more of this rock, and it's going to make it look like it comes further out towards us versus, you know, our very thick, textury flowers that are going to come over the edge. They're going to be very colorful too. So up to you guys. You want to have like a gray land bridge? You want to have some super colorful flowers? You want our waterfall to look like? We can literally come in and scrape off a bit of back water, right? So we don't have to go all the way back. Or you leave it and you pop in your bushes right in here. But at any point, we have to cover about this much of our waterfall. You got to get rid of it. You have to push it back at some point, right? So you don't have to do it all with a rock. You can do it with bushes or whatever. But in any case, let's clear out that section. Let's even come all the way up into there, right? Making it all jaggedy. Just pushing real hard, scraping it real hard off of the thing. And that leaves a nice little kind of bored out section where there's no paint left on the brush. Now, what if we came down with a little bit more of our darkness? Let's get our black and blue mixed up again. Just like that. Mixing it down, mixing it down. Now we'll scrape up a little bit of that. Come in, start to fill in our little guy, just like this. It's going to be a lot easier if you scrape away that paint first. Otherwise, you're going to try to mix all this dark with all that white that we scraped away. And we all know that that's very hard to do. If you start getting it too much or too bright in there, right, then it doesn't stand out. And you don't keep your deep dark shadows, you don't have any depth. So we all know the dilemma of trying to go across the white. So scrape it out, get it out of there. Get it done, get it out. All right, now let's see. What if we had a bit of I'm gonna throw in a bit of mist first, right? And then we can decide what we wanna cover and what we wanna allow to show. But if we have our little bit of cloudy mist back there, as all this water's falling off, right? We're gonna take a nice dry 1-inch brush, just like that, and come over here to the deepest, darkest spot, and we're gonna start very light pressure. Light, 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 light. And then the more that you push on it, right, the more it's gonna blend in, the more it's gonna mix in with the colors underneath it, but also the more you're gonna blend it to the same color. So leave little light areas, little dark areas, little details where it's a bit brighter, a bit darker, right? And we come in and we get to decide what's going on, right? Just like that. And then at any point, you come in here and you fill it with water by making a little straight line, and then you shrink your mist back down, right? All up to us what we want to do. All up to us, but we do need a little bit of misty brightness just to make whatever we stick in front of it more 3D. Trust the process. I'm come in here. Ooh, look, picked up some of that green that's underneath the canvas as well. Woo! That's a gorgeous bit of just like radioactive green. That's really cool. What's happening underneath that guy? That's what I want to know. All right, and then once we go and stick our bit of color over the top of it, then it's going to change. Let's see if we can get any bit more brightness over here. Ooh, that's a little good right there, right? Very small things. You can drag down into, remember, rotate the brush so you get the same angles, but you can drag them down into our little bit of misty foam. Very cool, right? But we know we're going to add a little splash in here anyway, so we're going to splash it up. It's going to come rotating out. You guys can decide, though, does it come out this way to the left? Does it come out that way to the right? Does it come hit and down and go this way? Does it hit and flow off that way? All up to us what we want to do, right? All up to us. So let's say it did come down and it hit right in here, right underneath where the darkness and the light is. We're going to get right up under there. All right, all that water's making all that splash. And as we come in with that splash, we're going to try to be as light as possible and keep it much brighter than our little mist behind, right? Because it's not mist, it's literal splashing, crashing water. So just like that, such a light little touch. So light. Oh, so light. Okay, perfect, right there. Now, at any moment, right, if you guys tell me we're going to go to the right, we'll go to the right. If we're going to the left, we go to the left. Which way do we go? We'll go down right then. It's going to be cool. Everybody says right, 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 right. Okay, let's go to the right. Now, we're going to come over here, leaving a little bit of darkness and mystery beneath or in between the two bright colors. You have to have that teeny sliver of that dark separator. All you got to have back in there, right? And this guy, not connecting all of our straight lines. Got to have them be sort of crazy, right? You don't want it to be all the same. You got to have them disconnected. Got to have that dark disconnect. And then we get brighter. We push more paint onto the canvas as it flows over this way, right? However bright we want to have it, totally up to us. Come back with your 1-inch brush or your 2-inch brush, whatever it is. Just soften them up, just like this. Remember, guys, this painting is available for sale. You can get it right now before we even finish. Sort of reserve it for yourself right now. If you go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com, let's get a little of our liquid white right in there. Now, the only thing that we're going to do differently is add a couple bushes here and 2 big old trees that you didn't even ever see coming. So maybe you want to wait until you see what those look like. But haste makes waste, or waiting makes, I don't know. Someone else might get it while you're waiting. That's the goal, right? Look at those little different things in there. All those little different levels, different bits of water coming out, right? Make this guy a little bit wider. Not connecting him in every bit, just kind of running our knife through it, back and forth, messing it up. That's all we're really doing. Messing it up. Get that little bit of water line in there. All these little different angles and different things. Bright areas, dark areas, all this bit of foam and nastiness all running down, right? You get all that, the stuff gets all tumultuized, if that's a word, right? Gets all churned up in there and you get all this algae and stuff, it's all floating away. Very cool. Very cool, softest little bit, because again, it's liquid white and it will want to run so far. So we just go over the little teeniest, tiniest bit. Now, let's wash off some brushes and then we're going to throw in the flowers and a couple trees maybe. So, before we do that, actually, because we're going to scrape everything up, let's get a little more of that gray color. And maybe back in here, right? And a little piece that just got lit up. Just a little bit back in there. All right? Don't have to have it be humongous. Don't want it to have too much texture. So just a little bit back in there. And then, especially if you get too much brightness in an area, go back with your black. Throw a little bit of black in there, right? Little differences, little shadows, and you get those extra deep little areas. Look at that, just by making a mess and then going back and adding some dark over the top. So simple. So simple. Back in here, take these guys and just soften them down the smallest little bit. Not trying to reach the next area, just trying to soften it down so we don't have that thick paint all in there. And look at the green and the blues trying to light up. Look at these guys trying to touch right here. They're trying to get to each other. They're like, right? Trying to touch. So, here we go. A little bit of dark. Bingo, bango. Looks awesome. Okay, now we're going to take the last little bit and come over here because this gray is just the most gorgeous bit of rock you ever did see. So I'm going to come back in there like that, sliding it down. Little things, little darkness, little bright, little different angles. And come down different ways, right? How do you want your bit of rock to look? It's exactly how it's going to look. Don't go all the way to the side. Right, leave those dark areas out there. A couple little bits that come down. Wicked cool little rock, and maybe, just maybe, there's a cave way off there, right? Well, what if we tried to create one? If there was like a little bit of like a jagged opening, maybe way back in there, and then you couldn't even see the rest, right? But you know, something lives back in here where all that darkness is. That's my guess anyway. All those little sharp rocks and stuff. Woo! I'm not going back there alone. Does anybody else want to come back with me? Because I'm not going back there. You guys, you can go. I'm not going. Again, tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? I'm going to come over here and we're going to try to wash some of these brushes off. And then come back and make the most gorgeous, gorgeous little flowers you ever saw. So, stick with us. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. All right. Perfect. Okay. One more little fan brush to do. Yeah, I don't know if you guys want to go back to that cave, but I sure don't. It looks spooky. It looks wet, like all that mist and all that stuff's going to get in there, going to create just a bunch of, just a place for bacteria to thrive. It doesn't look good. Okay, let's see. What are you guys saying? Where we're from? What are we watching? Fried egg sandwiches. That's London's favorite sandwich from the UK. Fried egg sandwich. That is beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're not done yet. We're going to be rocking and rolling here for at least maybe 10 more minutes. We'll be done. We're going to come up in here just very lightly, adding a bit of brightness and saving all those little dark areas. All right, have you ever wondered how to paint like that stacked rock look where you get all those little layers? Just leave a little space in between, right? Very, very cool, guys. So now I'm going to have this area pop with flowers, so it's got to have something to sit on though. Actually, it doesn't, because all the flowers are going to fall over the edge, which will be very cool. Now, we're going to take up our palette knife. We're going to grab our black and our blue. We've only used sap green, phthalo green, phthalo blue, black, white, and yellow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors. I love doing limited palette landscapes, and that way you don't have to have every single color in the rainbow or every color in the set of paints in order to make something cool, right? Just use 5, 6 colors. I've got paintings as much as one color, black and white, right? Or black, white, and blue. I have a 3-color painting, 4-color paintings, 5-color paintings, 6-color paintings, all the way up to like 27-color paintings. I swear I used 27 colors one time. It's not a joke. It is not a joke at all. Not an exaggeration. We're gonna come in here like this, bouncing into that darkness that we just made, all that thick, gross nastiness, right? And come over here, set the palette down, just so the thing doesn't pop out the easel, because you got to give it some pressure. We're going to come over here, not trying to cover up anywhere that we created those rocks, right? Leave that darkness, there's a little space in between. And maybe these guys dangle down right over the tip of all that fog back there, which is going to make them look more 3D. The darker they are, the more dangly they're getting right out here. And you make them nice and dark and thick, it's going to make them pop out in front of that bit of mistiness that's way off in the back. We're not going to try to cover all that stuff. And keep going back to the palette to scoop up more paint so it's all thick, gross, little things, maybe some grow down, try to touch that water way down in the front, right? Just like that. Helps bring all of our darkness, wrap it around. Even though we're gonna frame this one, if we go over here with our black and blue, because we didn't make enough, because like I said, we never make enough. Never make enough. Now this black and blue color is gonna be super dark, right? So what we're gonna do is dab in our brush again, over there, like literally trying to get as much goopy globbiness as possible. And then, just in case the canvas tries to pop out on me, I'm gonna go up into the grass and over the waterfall a little bit. You gotta cover a little bit of back where the water is, all right? Drop our little guy down here. Now again, you need a lot of thick texture because you got that green, you got that yellow that's gonna wanna mix in with, and we pop a few bits out in front of the waterfall as they're dangling down, right? But you gotta make sure it's dark, and watch this. As it comes down and hangs over that radioactive green mist that's back there, whatever's growing or happening underneath, the Ninja Turtles are down here getting ready to do something, right? As it hangs down over that, it just provides the most amazing bit of 3D-ness that you can possibly get. So cool, guys. So cool. I'm gonna come back in here just right underneath. Bam, little bit of bright right there. All right, now let's wash all the thick color off of this brush, and then we'll use the exact same brush to come back and highlight everything. Very cool, you guys. Now, we got one thing to do after the flowers or before the flowers. We can do it at either point, but we have to do something like a big old tree branch coming up out of these flowers. So, you want to see that now, or do you want to see me do the colors first? We can do either which one. It's probably easier if we do it while everything's nice and dark, and then we can go cover over it. But I'm gonna let you guys decide what comes next. If we were gonna put a tree there, should we do the flowers first? Or this one's about $357, including the frames. Whichever frame you choose, it comes worldwide shipping. King James 7, $357 is what it is. Branch, yeah, I definitely think you guys are right? Which is funny, because I think it's more fun to have you guys teach me how to do it, because then it makes you really learn and pay attention about what everyone else is saying, right? If I'm not giving you all the answers. Now we're loading up our brush with the blue and black, skipping the crimson right here. I don't even know why I put it out on the palette. Just like that. And you know what? I popped the brown out for a reason, so we could add some brown to it as well. Boom, boom, boom. Nice little hatchet blade, super sharp, little chiseled edge. We can go out there and chop some wood with this sucker, right? So we're gonna come in here, and let's see, right there, light pressure at the top. And the more we go down, the more we push and push and push and push and push and push till we've made it right down onto the edge. Gorgeous little tree with all of that stuff. That's why we left that dark area in between there. I was gonna do another one right here too, but not right in front of our cave. That's not gonna make sense now that we've got a cave there. So a little bit more of our brown, a little bit more black and blue. Let's do another one, guys. Another little guy, maybe not so big. We're gonna come in here and really make sure that our thing is dark right on the edge. Perfect. Now we've got this guy over here. Maybe he's coming down from the side. Light pressure so he stays skinny. Gotta stay skinny until we start getting down to the bottom. Then you can see it extend right into our flowers. Very cool. But it's trying to mix in with all that light paint back there too. Right, all that gray, it's trying to mix in with it. So make sure you got a dark enough base, a dark enough trunk to have it stand out, pushes all that gray back, cuts right through. Bam, just like that. Very cool. Very cool, you guys. All right, let's get this brush cleaned off right here, and then we're gonna go highlight those little guys, throw our flowers on, and we'll be done with this one. So start coming up with a name for this painting, guys. If your name gets chosen in the comments, I'll give you a shout out. Tell everybody that's watching to go follow you. And if it happens to get purchased, then maybe the buyer likes your name that you put in the comments more than the name that they chose or they were gonna do it themselves. So it's always a fun time. Who knows, you might get a shout out to tons of people, and it's gonna be a good time. Let's see this brush over here. Now I'm gonna get a little liner brush. We're gonna do a couple little branches off of this guy, and then we're gonna highlight the trunk and everything. So in order to make our branches come off of the brush easily, right, we have to add our little low odor mineral spirits to the, see, that wants to run down. It's gotta be so wet, like just really wet, watery, super watery. And that way it'll come off of your brush easier All right, and come back in here, and cut through, and it'll come off of our brush and deposit its little black branch right down in there. Well, black and blue branch. Branch, my man. All right, if you don't have enough thinner, it's not gonna cut through those darker colors or that our lighter color rock off in the back either. Right up through there. A little bit more of our paint, a little bit more thinner. Right over it again. Maybe it crisscrossed in front of that tree. You never know. Never know out there who's sitting in front until we highlight it, right? That's the fun part. Maybe this guy up here. Little teeny tiny little branches. As we're going out, growing. For whatever reason, these guys are just bare, leafless, sad little branches. Maybe there was a fire in this area. Maybe they're just too overwatered with all this water, and they're like, oh, we can't take it anymore. We're getting rid of dropping everything. Drop all the leaves, everything's gone. Just like that. Come out in there and this crazy shaped branch just by bouncing and rotating and doing all these cool little things, right? Very neat. Now, let's brighten it up the smallest little bit by taking a bit of our liquid white, coming over here into our two brown colors, and just mixing that guy up the smallest bit, and then we're gonna come back and get some of our thinner out of the jar, right back into that thing to make him a little more runny, right? There we go. Now it's a little bit lighter brown, continually mixing in with all the brown that's underneath it. Let's go right back over these guys, trying to only cover half of that dark shadow with a little bit of our brighter brown, right? Just half of our dark shadow we're covering. Throwing it out that way. This guy was over here. Right in there. Get these very cool little branches and start to stand out right over their shadows, though. You got to have a bit of darkness underneath them, right? Not trying to cover the whole thing. Just trying to have a bit of bright on the top, a bit of dark underneath. And then these guys at the very top, bang, so small. But you can see all those branches start to stand out now, just with that bit of brown over the top. And that's exactly what it's going to do when we, there we go, when we start highlighting our big old branch over here, right? So come back into there, a little bit of darkness, a little bit of light. See if we can get it to do it at the same time. No, I didn't want to do it at the same time. So go back to our brightness right over the top, just like that. Very cool little branch. Now wipe off our little liner brush. I don't think we're going to need this guy anymore until we go sign the painting at the end. I doubt we're going to need him anymore. Now let's grab up, same thing over here, a bit of our brown, put it down there, a bit of our titanium white, and put it down there. Mix it up like that. We're not gonna add any liquid white or anything to this paint. We want it to be nice and thick, textury, right? We're gonna scrape up the smallest little bit, come in here, just lightly touching along the edge. Tap, 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 and then pull away, right? And then the more you tap over it, the more it's gonna start to look like a tree trunk, bark, right? And then sometimes you're really gonna be able to feel the bark on there. If it's on there thick enough, you're gonna be able to feel it. You run your fingers across it. Very cool. Little things, don't go all the way to the top though. Never go all the way to the top. Right here, a little bit on the side. Touch, 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 tap, 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 all the way up, right? You can do it. I can do it, you guys can do it. Just tapping, moving up. That's it. Don't try to cover the whole tree in highlight though. You have to have half in the light, half in the dark, half in the light, half in the dark, right? Can't have it all be the same. Don't want that. There we go, you guys. Very cool. Okay, now let's go and do those flowers. Let's do some gorgeous little flowers, you guys. So we've got all this deep dark color in there, and we have our very bright colors over here. So why don't we go in with a little bit of green first, pop our green off the back, just straight up sap green. And that way, whatever we go across it, it's gonna mix, say like a yellow, right? We're gonna flip the brush around. So we had our green on the one side, now we're flipping it around to the yellow on the other side. Look at how chunky it is. Exactly what I want. Bang, touch little touches, little teeny bits, right? It's gonna mix in with that green, providing all those gorgeous little flowers. Look at that. Woo, Nelly, so cool. Now let's come back in with our crimson, right? A little darker red. A little darker red on this corner, popping it out. Down in here into the shadows, right? Very cool. We're gonna flip the brush over and come into the red like this, the bright red. And very lightly, little taps, little things. Oh, guys, look at all those little things. Oh, fantastic. Just fantastic. Now, let's wash this brush off. It's getting a little dirty. Getting a little dirty. Sometimes you can just wipe it on a paper towel, and sometimes you gotta go through the process and beat the devil out of it, just like that. All right. Gorgeous little bits of flowers. We might be able to add one more color in front of that. So let's think. Let's go into a little darker yellow ochre. Pretty little thing. See how I'm stabbing right into the big thick pile of paint and it's gooping up on my brush? That way it's gonna leave little textured little flowers everywhere as they start to hang down and rotate, trying to grow down and grab everything underneath, right? So cool. So cool, you guys. Oh, I love it. Let's get a little of our phthalo green too, just back in here. Why not? Just a little bit, just because. You gotta have some of that deep, dark under green in there too. Man, that's fire. Just fantastic. Now we only got a little bit of area over here that we can do that to. So we've got to decide, you know, do you want it to be exactly the same? Do you want to use a different color? Do you want to have blue? Do you want to make up your own little purple or just a little bit of pink? What do you want to have, right? Hit me with some colors, guys. What color should we do these signs? Give me like 3 colors, like we did over here. 3 different colors. Maybe we'll do 3. Maybe we'll do 2 over here. Let's give me 2 different colors. 2 different colors over there. Blue and purple. I like it. I like it. Let's see. Purple, purple. What's this purple? Pink and purple. Purple, 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 purple. Blue and purple, blue and purple, 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 purple. Bob, is that you? No, I'm the next best thing though, baby. Next best thing. Woo! Just like that. So let's come over here, and somebody said blue. I love that idea. So what you need to do is use blue and white to have it really stand out. Get a little bit of blue into our brush, sucking it up in there so it's a little textury. And I don't want to put the blue next to all this blue and white. It may not stand out. So let's put it back here. A little bit, popping it off the side. Right, now watch, you're gonna flip the brush over, dab into the white, and it's gonna leave these little gorgeous little things as it starts to mix in and blend. Look at these little blue highlights start showing up. Just fantastic. Little things, you don't want to go all the way down. Just awesome. Little bits of flowers, little things with a deep blue undertone to them. So cool. Now, let's come in here, mix up a little bit more of that white, a little bit more of our blue. Come down over there like this, and then pop, 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 pop. A couple little things as they hang off the edge. Very cool. Very cool. So, let's go again. I love that greenish yellow. Come in here to the green. Pop our green over our tree trunk, right? You gotta have the deep green in there because it helps everything stand out, right? Now let's throw actually a little bit more of that deep green right down in there too. Like we had another bush come in from out of frame and start to hang out with everybody. Now, this one's a little bit too colored in order to add that bright yellow to it. It would kind of dull it down very fast, right? All those dark colors would just be crazy. And our yellow would instantly go a darker green very fast. So, beat the devil out of the brush, knock it off onto the paper towel, dab it out. Dab, 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 dab. Just smashing it onto a paper towel. So you're just making it a little bit drier, right? And that way it's not so sloppy and wet. Now we'll come back over here again. A little bit of our yellow, right straight into the pile. So you got a good chunky amount. And maybe a couple back there behind the tree. Maybe in front of the tree, and we're also popping out away from the shadows, right? Into the thing, like a little bit of brightness grew out of there. Hard to fall down, a couple little bits, bam, just like that. So cool. Guys, it's just gorgeous. Watch, I'm gonna take the same corner now with that same yellow, and we're gonna dip it into the red, and maybe we can get a couple just like fiery little bits, just like that, right? With the orange and the yellow and the red all together. Oh, there it is. Bop, 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 bop. Man, that is pretty, guys. That is a great painting right there, if I say so myself. I mean, I'm a little biased, right? I agree. I can be a little biased, but that painting has got to be one of my all-time favorites. I'm so happy we made a tutorial out of this one, because if I didn't, everyone would ask, is there a video for this one? And I would have to say, well, no, there's not. But there is today, baby. There is today. So, remember guys, if you want to rewatch this stream, make sure you follow me over on YouTube. And in about 3 weeks, this video will come out as a step-by-step tutorial that'll go right through all the stuff. And I'm saying it to the tutorial camera right now. Hey guys, what's happening? So, let's say goodbye to the tutorial camera. We'll get rid of everything. We're gonna name it and we gotta name it first before we say goodbye. So, start coming up with a name, guys. What would you want to name this painting? And then let me know in the comments. And who knows, if it gets purchased right now, remember, this is 804, guys, 804, number 804. If it gets purchased in the comments, if it gets purchased during the show right now, then it comes with that frame upgrade for free, right? That frame upgrade is a serious frame. Let's add our little bird family in here. These are the only animals that Paint with Josh paints, and it's the 3 birds. So they represent myself, my wife, my ex-wife, London, and our daughter, and they go into every single painting as part of this signature. So they'll be up in the sky, and then somewhere deep down in the depths of the painting will be our old little Josh Hancock down here. Let's put it down with these guys. Try to keep it nice and small and out of the way so nobody, you know, I don't want it to stand out. I want you to enjoy the painting versus my signature, right? Very cool though. Awesome little piece for this one. Awesome. All right. Well, guys, this one turned out fantastic. I can't wait to see your version of it. Make sure you send it into facebook.com/paintwithjosh. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day. And bye-bye. One more time. Last take. Promise. Last take. This is how you do it. Ready? Hi, guys. Welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we did a gorgeous 18 by 24 inch. All that pressure on myself. Okay, one more time. Hey guys, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we did a gorgeous 18 by 24 inch Forest Canyon waterfall, and I got an itch in my eye that just won't stop. Ah! Oh, that's all I could focus on was that itch. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we did a gorgeous 18 by 24 inch Forest Canyon waterfall painting. Turned out fantastic. You obviously think so as well. That's why you clicked on this link. You want to learn to paint this one. So check the description down below. Make sure you get all the colors you need. Make sure you get your canvas nice and wet. Get ready to throw some paint on it. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Why did I do that? That's not how I do it. What a clown. That was a perfect. Oh, that was perfect. And I screwed it up right at the end. Okay, here we go. Let's do the clap. Hey guys, it's Paint with Josh back in the studio today. Did an 18 by 24 inch gorgeous painting. Turned out fantastic. You obviously think so as well. That's why you want to click. All right, one more time. Here we go. Hi, I'm Paint with Josh. Lots of pressure in front of everybody. Hang on, one more time.